Hi, everybody. Welcome to our first edition of Sorry, Not Sorry with your host. My name is Spencer, and I have a very special guest with me today.
I'm his mother.
She's my mom. Her name is Lisa Donnan. You may know her as Lisa DCT on social media. Go follow her. She's funny as hell, please, and thank
Well,
you.
I try. Hey, I want to congratulate you on your creative success and being just an all-around nice guy. And you don't find that much these days.
Thank you. It's been quite the year for sure. Having started all this, and now we're here, giving this a test run.
Yeah.
So we're trying stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying stuff.
So what do you want to know about me?
Well, I brought you on today because on this very special episode.
First of all, let me just tell you that your hair and makeup people, they suck. They never showed up. I just thought I'd let you know that. So this is what you're going to get. It's as good as it gets.
I thought you were making a diss at me.
No, not you. Your hair always looks good.
Oh, thanks.
Remember the lady that touched it the other day? She
Oh,
thought
yeah.
it was a wig.
Yeah, she nearly ripped it right off my head. And she thought it was fake. No, it's real.
He got the good hair. Skipped a generation.
I don't know how
Anywho,
that happened.
What can I do for you, my son?
So, why I brought you on today is because we need to discuss a few things. It's time we have a sit down. We have an old fashioned sit down at the table.
Okay. Well,
This is the table, and this is our sit down.
We can't get any closer.
I know.
Is this the Last Supper? No. What are we doing?
So, we're talking about the differences between what my generation thinks is things that are okay in the workplace and in everyday life, and your generation's
Right.
beliefs in the workplace
Yeah.
and everyday life.
Okay.
Because we go toe to toe in this every single day.
Yeah, we do. It's true. Your generation is, as I would call, lazy. Sorry, but you are.
I know we have a lot. This generation got a lot, but we grew up and we were thrust into it like I was 7 years old, and that's when the first iPhone came out.
Yeah.
So we started at a young age where technology became a huge thing, and wow, look at what you can do on the internet. And
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse because now all you see is these little babies with iPhones and people don't talk. And I think the communication problem is of people actually having a full-blown conversation with someone else like you and I are having right now. It doesn't happen anymore. People are texting from one room to the other room to have communication. It takes talking face to face. That's where I came from because we didn't have that.
there are many people nowadays who quite simply will respond with a happy grunt or a sad disgruntled grunt.
Exactly. Some people, they just walk in, they don't even say good morning. Nobody says anything anymore.
It it's things are definitely different from the stories that you've told when you were younger and my life growing up,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, we would like drink from garden hoses, and we came in when the street lights went back on, and your parents never knew where the hell you were at, and it's a different society now. It's a scary society. This world has become, as the dinosaurs would say, almost extinct.
It's what I like to joke about is I always say that you as kids were feral. You were feral children who lived in the woods
Well, we weren't
for 90%
feral.
of the day.
We weren't feral, but we.
You ate candy necklaces around your neck that had sweat, dirt, and grass residue all
Absolutely.
over it. That's
Absolutely.
nasty.
That's how we prevented the next variant from coming around. We were tough and resilient, and we drank warm water from the hose, and that's just the way it was. We didn't want to have to go back inside where the adults were, and they quite frankly didn't want us in.
You played outside and playing ding dong ditch with neighbors who had shotguns,
True.
ready to kill children.
But you learned how to run really quick and dive into pricker bushes. It was good times.
We would never. Nowadays, I'm sorry, my generation, but I think I speak for a lot of us. If we get a slight boo boo, it's very painful
Yeah,
and
no.
excruciating.
You
I have
didn't wanna end the
soft
game.
baby
You
hands.
do have soft baby hands, but that's just because you're more of an artist than anything else. I was more involved in sports and playing out with the guys. That's why all my girlfriends used to be like, "Oh, can you introduce me to so and so?" Because I, played right up there with them. I was a competitor. Still am.
To this day, you're still seeing. You're just telling me you're like, oh, I don't mind a little confrontation now and again. I think it's exciting.
It is. I get a confrontation every week. I go to the recycling thing at Big Y.
Yes, so
There's
do
always
I.
some guy that wants to just be an absolute douche.
Well, apparently, also in that generation, you're the belief for some time was a woman is a man's property kind of thing, and women have
Yeah.
to obey a man. That is
Yeah, no. That never worked with
how.
me. I would have been burned at the stake if I was ever born way, way back.
If you were a pilgrim,
It would have been like, oh, geez. I would have had the
if
big.
if the priest came around, for God's sakes, this woman is defying every order that we give her. This is witchcraft, I say.
If you looked in my past, I probably was killed several times in my past life, like because I didn't want to play along. I know for sure in a past life I was a millionaire. I know for sure, there's no doubt, because I definitely love the finer side of life. You know, from
Right.
where I came from, when we didn't really travel, your parents didn't have the money. From 16 on, I had 2 jobs and traveled the world. Now you guys can travel the world, but the world's so scary. What are you going to travel to? You know,
It's
it's
a
different.
different beast.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I feel bad for kids these days for that
No,
reason.
I couldn't imagine myself growing up and nowadays as a kid just because I see a lot of the stuff that goes on around just this country. If it's around the world, then it's something even entirely different. But just in this country alone, I feel like it feels like a whole different world that I've moved into without even asking to do so.
I think every generation had stressors. I mean, this generation is no different. But it went up a notch with all these school shootings and all this kind of stuff. Not to get into politics or whatever. My father always carried a weapon. He needed it. So it's not about Second Amendment privileges. It's about, you don't need an AR-15 to hunt or anything like that. You want to go back in age to when they made the Constitution, then we would still be shooting with them damn rifles that you stuff with
With
gunpowder.
a
Yeah,
musket and the spear pike on the edge of it.
Right. It's just everything has become a fight, and instead of
Yeah.
people working, the last time I remember people working together was 9/11, and I know you and I have gone to that memorial site quite a few times. But in my lifetime, because everything was shielded from kids, now everything's out there. I don't think kids need to know anything but Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, what's going on. They don't need to know all the garbage and negativity. Every night on the news is breaking news, which is just a normal thing every night. Whereas back in the day,
It was something
when
big.
if like Peter Jennings came on with breaking news, you knew it was huge. But every night is breaking news.
Well, there's always something going on in the world. Someone always wants to do something to stir up some entertainment.
When I first went
Entertainment.
to school, and we had the feathered pens, and I had to wake up the horses to hitch the ride to school. No, I'm not that old, but I'm just saying, things were just so different than today.
Well, drivers nowadays, they want, even then, this is something we'll be getting into momentarily, but something nowadays I've realized is even on the road, people want instant gratification. I have to be first. I have to get there first. No, you can't cut me off. I want to be first. I have to get there first. I cannot wait 2 more seconds. I have to get there first.
Now, back in the day, that would be called, first of all, our cars didn't go as fast. Okay, like the Wilbur-Cross Parkway where we're from, that was for like little jalopies, not for cars that do $1.10. So nowadays cars go much faster, and you're screaming black. Does that mean anything? That means Stop talking? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Anywho, so cars go faster, people go faster. And then you get the freaking video games that it's like, what's it called? Auto.
Grand Theft
Yeah, there
Auto.
you go. Where you just run and I think people
I want to
think.
steal cars and go fast.
Exactly. I think people
It's
think it's a
fun.
video game.
Well, yeah.
I'd like to see come back uh, kindness, generous. You certainly were taught to help other people.
Not from a lot of people nowadays. It's a me centric
Yeah, I would
kind
like to
of.
see the younger people, rather than just looking at as the older set, which I am now. I am the older set. As, oh, you're just stupid and you don't know, what you're doing and blah blah blah. There's a lot of knowledge that you can learn from people who have been around for generations. You just have to be willing to listen to it and be willing to grow. But I think generosity and kindness needs to make a big, huge comeback.
Need to give back to people.
Yeah,
Need
I
to.
mean, we always have, But I mean, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing to spread along to your kids to, help somebody else who might be worse off than you are. Yeah, I don't give a shit who's in the White House or anything like that. I don't care what political party you're from. Doesn't make a difference. If you're a nice person, that's all I care about. There's no need to be rude. And as being in the healthcare field, you're there to help people.
And even then, it's not enough sometimes.
Sometimes not, but at least, after a 12-hour shift or something, you got to be able to grab something positive from people who are obviously hurting. I get yelled at all day long, and I kind of like it. Because after I have a phone conversation with somebody, and usually we want to go to lunch because we understand each other, because we're usually around the same age. Whereas I see the flip side of the coin where some of the older generation don't speak so nicely to the younger generation or they think they could pull one over on them. And then, of course, Mama Bear, also known as the pit bull, has to step in to help out.
Well, it's a lot of. It's that there's the younger generation that looks at the older generation and they think that they're too old to understand. They don't know what they're talking about. Their ideals don't fit in what today's society is. And then there's the older generation who look at the younger generation. They say we're lazy, we're not passionate enough, we're not doing enough, and I don't know. There's even fighting among. Hence why we're here today.
There's
fighting
huge
against
differences, you know what I mean? But the generation of, back in the, here I say back in the day again, but I mean, you could never get away with coming in late or leaving early or ending your job before your shift or speaking, not speaking nicely to a customer that may come in. It would be an immediate, I go to a specific beverage spot, Dunkin'.
not
every
sponsored.
day.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. But you go and it's, it's a grunt. I help you. 5 up. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I never get the right freaking coffee. I talk slowly and I understand that you want $15 an hour or you want $20 an hour. I get it. But you're making a cup of coffee. Just smile. How are you? Nope, none of that.
Well, it's nice that you bring that up just because that will be a nice segue into one of the big things that we talk about here, which is folks watching. If you come from my generation, we continue to talk about the fact that
I'm
things
for the
just
shrinking generation, obviously. Like, I'm
you're
used to
so
damn
short
mic-
back there.
I used to be tall. By the time I'm done, I'll be ready for an urn. Anywho, go ahead.
The younger generation, things are too expensive nowadays. And the older generation believes that what we have already as a minimum wage is too much. But yet
It is.
when we look back and we look at what you made as a minimum wage, you're like, I traveled at your age. I had a house and 2 cars.
Yeah, but we didn't have. You had to buy your own stuff. You didn't. You bought it on your own. Your parents didn't give it to you. You weren't. If you were able to go to college, holy crap! That wasn't even really a thing. That much.
Nowadays, you go to college, get a degree, and
sometimes you know that.
Sometimes you don't get a job.
It's very difficult. And you know what? Disney and all those people. Shame on you. You should hire this kid. He's very good. As a matter of fact, I went to broadcasting school way back in the day, and I used to enjoy doing all kinds of characters. I actually went to MGM and tried out for a little mouse character. That was fun. So
I still have yet to see what that character looks like.
Well, they only showed it that day, and you had to do the voice. They didn't. I can't even remember. It was so long ago, but it was a cool experience because you were in, like a soundproof room, and you had the spit microphone in front of you. It was a very cool experience to be able to.
You're a great historian, just like dear old grandma, because you cannot remember what the character was from or what they looked like.
No, I don't even remember what it was.
Come on, that's what people want to know.
It was a mouse. I don't know. You'd have to go back to probably the 80s when it was. And, in the midst of me traveling, being able to travel. But
I wish I could travel.
Well, you can't. You got to.
Now I have crippling debt. I do.
You have all of this. You're going to be able to reach out and touch people. We couldn't do it that way. Plus, I'd be in trouble.
I can reach out and touch people?
Yes.
Like this?
Like that. And you could go,
it's so good to see you.
Exactly. Hopefully, you're able to take this venue and get some people interested that are within your scope of creativity and be able to go back and forth and, go with ideas or what you may use or, who you may know. Because that's the big thing. Get behind a mentor that's already been there.
That actually brings up another very good question that I have.
How I got my good looks.
Oh, yeah. We could have an entire episode on that one. Where you got your gorgeous model-style looks from.
I'm
Fantastic.
So
I know.
You know what I mean? I'm known for my style. Really. Nike.
You
sponsor me.
Not on the podcast.
Sorry.
My question is,
WNBA?
you always... Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
My question is, you're always telling me, if I had the technology that you kids have nowadays, I could do so much. I could do so much with what you have.
Yeah. I have done with the small stuff that,
Are you saying that you quite literally mean if you were in your 20s again, you could do so much?
No, it's because nobody wants to see. I just turned 60. I know I don't look a day over 80, but
She look fabulous. Aren't we twins?
But they don't find people my age funny anymore. You're starting to get old, you're starting to get wrinkled. That's a lot. That's a big thing, too. It kind of pisses me off a little bit. Because
the ageism?
a lot of,
Because you look old that you can't do certain things?
Exactly. 100%. 100%. That's what it is. And, a lot of these, even the celebrities that were stunningly gorgeous back in the day, they got old. And people are laughing at, the fact that they got old. And I'm talking guys and girls.
That oh my goodness, they didn't break the laws of physics and stay beautiful forever.
Exactly. Not for nothing, but not everybody, everybody's going to get old. Someday you're going to walk across and you're going to catch an image of yourself and go, who the hell is that? Because I don't recognize them at all. God, I got old. Bitch got old.
I say that about myself. Sometimes I say that about myself. I know, but I look back and
Plus
I look
you got
at this.
facial hair. Give me a day. I could probably have one of those.
You might scare someone for real.
Well, yeah,
Bigfoot sighting.
It grows in thick. That's all I
Bigfoot.
could say.
I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear that one.
Anything else you want to know?
Uh, there's a couple more things. One of them would be I wanted to share this with you because I saw a thing on LinkedIn this morning,
Okay.
and I've been more active on going on there and seeing any kinds of listings and whatnot. And one of the people that had posted about hiring younger people, it was it started off promising where supporting like young people can do what experienced older people can do in a design field, like because it's the stereotype of if you're young, you don't know what you're doing, you're not ready, we're not ready to hire you kind of deal. But then it turned into a roast about old people where it became why you need to hire young people. And one of the points was older people aren't as passionate and driven as younger people are. They don't have the stamina to do what younger people can. And I said, that's
Well,
not
you've
true.
watched me for how long? Would you say that I done?
Right,
But that's what I'm saying.
But you're always saying that the younger generation has more hesitation with doing things. So I just wanted to get your take on that.
You know, my thing is there's an awful lot of fear. There's an awful lot of fear in this generation. I think it's because everybody got a participation trophy when they shouldn't have.
And they always spelled my name wrong on it
Oh,
too.
Sorry. But, you know, the thing is that not everybody, you need to learn how to lose. It's okay to lose. It's okay to make a mistake. That is how you learn. But to say that I think if the younger generation could just pick one mentor, I don't care if it's their grandparent or whatever, that has seen some things happen in their life, and shit's gonna happen in your life. This journey is not you just don't shoot straight up. It's hills and valleys, baby.
Oh,
And you
how I
better
wish.
learn to be freaking tough through it, or you're gonna wilt like a flower. But I think that's the problem, is this generation has much too much fear that they're afraid to even try. And try. What's the worst that can happen? You could suck at it? Okay, great. I'll try something else. If you're on the earth, there's a reason why you're here. You're good at something. Find it. What you're good at is not going to be what I'm going to be good at. For instance, I couldn't sew to save my life. I had to pay somebody in home ec in 7th grade to sew a shirt for me, and the teacher dimed me out. I got a D instead of an F. But I'm saying...
Well, you're really sure honest.
Yes, I was honest.
If you had lied, then you would have gotten that F.
She laughed like hell, and I'm like, this is the thing. I'm going to be good at some things that you're not going to be good at, and you got to find that one thing you're good at and take it to the next level. And don't look at older people, not all older people, because some of them are putzes. But I mean, you got to look at older people and say, hey, maybe I can learn something from that person. Or instead of trying to defend yourself, say, let me listen to their idea. Maybe they have a good idea. Like, this was a good idea. Wasn't it?
It was a good idea.
Yeah. I can only see you soaring.
As long as we keep it somewhat PG.
Yeah, oh well. I swear
That
every now and
beard
again.
thing kind of could have got me
Hey,
slapped.
hey, ladies, it's October 1st today. No Shave October. Here we go again.
No, it's
Hooray!
no. It's no. It's
Here
no.
comes the winter. Here comes the winter
It's
time.
No Shave November, not October.
I start now. I start early. Why bother?
Oh, you're going for
swimsuits and stuff like
your
that.
Wolfman look.
Absolutely. By Halloween, I'm all set. Yeah, tree knocking and everything. It's camouflage. It's also why I don't need
Yikes.
blankets. Anyhow, enough about me.
Okay.
What do you
I
think?
take back what I just said. Maybe this wasn't a
Should-
good idea.
Should we save it for another time?
Yeah,
You did great. Good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with your
Thank
podcast.
you.
I think
This-
it's going to work
still
very
got-
well.
Still gotta find my feel in it and shake things up a little bit. This is the first good attempt at the first one.
I thought it was great. It was nice. It was nice working with you.
It's
nice
working
sharing a
with you
microphone.
too. I know. Thanks.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Until
Stay
next
safe.
time, this was Sorry Not Sorry. Bye for now.